Good morning, Lassie Farm here. This will be chapter 3 of The Merchant and the Alchemist's Gate, written by Ted Chiang, continuing the story. What I showed you before was a gate of seconds. This is a gate of years. The two sides of the doorway are separated by a span of 20 years. I confess I did not understand his remark immediately. I imagined him reaching his arm in from the right side and waiting 20 years before it emerged from the left side. And it seemed a very obscure magic trick. I said as much and he laughed. "That is one use for it," he said. "But consider what would happen if you were to step through." Standing on the right side, he gestured for me to come closer, then pointed through the doorway. "Look." I looked and saw that there appeared to be different rugs and pillows on the other side of the room than I had seen when I entered. I moved my head from side to side and realized that when I peered through the doorway, I was looking at a different room from the one I stood in. "You are seeing the room 20 years from now," said Bassarat. I blinked as one might at an illusion of water in the desert, but what I saw did not change. "And you say I could step through?" I asked. "You could, and with that step, you would visit the Baghdad of 20 years hence. You could seek out your older self and have a conversation with him. Afterwards, you could step back through the gate of years and return to the present day." Hearing Bassarat's words, I felt as if I were reeling. "You have done this?" I asked him. "You have stepped through?" "I have, and so have numerous customers of mine." "Earlier you said I was the first to whom you have showed this." This gate, yes. But for many years I owned a shop in Cairo, and it was there that I first built a gate of years. There were many to whom I showed that gate, and who made use of it. What did they learn when talking to their older selves? Each person learns something different. If you wish, I can tell you the story of one such person. Bassarat proceeded to tell me such a story, and if it pleases your majesty, I will recount it here. The tale of the fortunate rope maker. There once was a young man named Hassan who was a maker of rope. He stepped through the gate of years to see the Cairo of 20 years later, and upon arriving he marveled at how the city had grown. He felt as if he had stepped into a scene embroidered on a tapestry. And even though the city were no more and no less than Cairo, he looked upon the most common sights as objects of wonder. He was wandering by the Zuwayla Gate, where the sword dancers and snake charmers perform, when an astrologer called to him, "Young man, do you wish to know the future?" Hassan laughed. "I know it already," he said. "Surely you want to know if wealth awaits you, do you not?" "I am a rope maker. I know that it does not." "Can you be so sure? What about the renowned merchant Hassan al-Hubwal, who began as a rope maker?" His curiosity aroused, Hassan asked around the market for others who knew of this wealthy merchant, and found that the name was well known. It was said he lived in the wealthy quarter of the city, so Hassan walked there and asked people to point out his house, which turned out to be the largest one on the street. He knocked at the door, and a servant led him to a spacious and well-appointed hall with a fountain in the center. And we will leave it there for now. I gotta go get my paperwork. Thanks for listening.